Kind of resembles the Wizard of Oz forest. I'd turn back if I were you, forest. Good morning, friends, and welcome to day 26. First, I apologize. I never wrapped up day 25. Day 25 was another push too hard day. I pushed all the way to Derrick Knob Shelter, which you can see in the background here. 12.7 miles. So the miles weren't too much, but the middle 6 miles or so, middle 5 or 6 miles up over Rocky Top and a few other climbs were really brutal. Partially because of the climbs, partially because of the trail conditions. I'm only 2 days in, but I'm not a fan of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park at this point, or at least the Appalachian Trail through the park. Of course, I had all rain on the first day, so that's gonna put a cloud over my opinion. But even yesterday, which was a beautiful day, the Appalachian Trail through the Smokies so far is really nothing more than a gully, a runoff gully from the mountains. So the trail that you're hiking in is either the gutter that I described 2 days ago, which is just literally imagine a bowling alley gutter. That's the shape of it, that's the width of it. Or it's a rocky riverbed, not maintained as a trail. And of course, these days with the rain we've had, it's sloppy and muddy. But that's the trail. You're slogging through a rocky river gully, sort of. Now, I suppose some of you are going to comment and say that's the way nature meant for trails to be. Okay. It doesn't mean I have to like it. So yesterday's hike was just a frustrating, slow, ankle-twisting, climbing, wet, muddy, sloppy hike. So anyway, as a result of pushing a little too hard yesterday, I was pretty sore last night and basically just got in bed and went to sleep. I got to camp later than I like to. I got to camp after 5, so I probably only had 45 minutes of real daylight. It started getting cold really fast, so I made my dinner as fast as I could, got my water, hung my bear bag, and went to bed. So, all right, that's yesterday. Today, beautiful sunny day. It's cold. It was about 35 when I woke up. It's about 40 now. I'm just taken off from the shelter here. I thought I would do my good morning from the shelter. I had a good morning alone again. Woke up and looked around and went to get my bear bag and saw some deer right next to the shelter. Maybe we'll insert a picture. I took a few pictures, so maybe one came out. Made some oatmeal for breakfast, had a nice cup of coffee. The sun came up. You can see it's right in my face here. So I kind of had a leisurely morning. I said, I'm going to take my time, do a little extra stretching after yesterday. Today, I've got a two-pronged plan. About 7.2 miles from here is, oh crap, I always forget the names. Something Springs Gap, Silver Springs Gap, something like that. About 7.2 miles from Derrick Knob Shelter. That's my goal. That's my target. Nice light day. I'd like to do some more miles. I got to see how my body feels. If I get there by 1 o'clock or so, 5 more miles is Mount Collins. Remembered that one. I'd like to get to Mount Collins, but that's a total of 13-something miles from here. Probably too much for me. I'll see how I feel. when I get there, when I get to the Springs, Silver Springs, whatever that is, and what time it is and how I feel. I'm not going to push another day to 5 or 5:30 or even 6 o'clock. So that's my plan. That's my day. Day 26. Here we go. See you on down the trail. 60 years of gratitude. 1973.
And tell me, great seal, how does it feel to be so wise? To see through our hearts that all want to see. All I need is the air that I breathe and to love you. All I need is the air that I breathe. Every highway let me slip away on you. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm, Lord, I was born a rambling man, trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Okay, 60 years of gratitude, 1973. Well, I'm going to start with a teacher again. I've decided I'm going to begin most of these with a shout out to a teacher I had. They all deserve those shout outs, of course. I was 7 years old in second grade, and my second grade teacher was Mrs. Robertson. I can still picture Mrs. Robertson, a lovely lady and a lovely second grade teacher. But the rest of my 1973 gratitude is for two friends. They were my first friends because they were neighborhood friends, Josh and John. And by the time we were 7, we were running around the neighborhood together and really did everything together for years. Rode bikes and swam at Josh's house and hiked in the woods and played street hockey and played ice hockey in the winter wherever we could, and made some trouble and stole vegetables from our neighbor's garden and really just did everything. Played hide and seek at night and with the whole neighborhood. So my 1973 gratitude is for old friends Josh and John. And actually 2 summers ago, maybe 3 summers ago now, the 3 of us got together for the first time in probably 40 plus years. And it was fantastic. And if you haven't done that with an old friend, I highly recommend it. Go find an old neighborhood friend or an old school friend and look them up and have lunch with them. I'm also going to throw in some gratitude for Josh's mom, Mrs. Gillis, and John's mom, Mrs. Roy. They were neighborhood moms for sure. Probably fed me meals as often as my mom did. No, that's not true, but seemed like it was. Anytime we were hanging around the neighborhood at lunchtime, wherever we were, that mom fed us. And we had a lot of sleepovers at all of our houses. And so to great neighborhood moms, Mrs. Gillis and Mrs. Roy, I have a lot of gratitude. All right, that's 1973. See you on down the trail. No sooner do I express my 1973 gratitude, about 30 steps later, I've come up on this ridge, and this is what I'm looking at. Wow. I've got to be, the distance there, I've got to be looking, it's got to be, I don't know how far you can see. I'm going to look that one up tonight. But It's got to be 50 miles, maybe 100 miles, I don't know. Down in the valley there, it's a body of water. I wonder if that's Fontana Dam. I'm gonna try to point it out to you if I can, right about there. That might be Fontana Lake and Fontana Dam, and if so, it probably means I've hiked something like this, and then up and around to my right. Wow. Okay, got about a half a mile to Double Spring Gap Shelter. That's my end point for the day. And tonight I promise I won't forget to wrap it up. See you on down the trail. Had to stop and capture this little forest right here. Pops up out of nowhere. You're hiking along kind of ratty, dry, scraggly trees, and all of a sudden you pop into this little green, mossy forest. Kind of resembles the Wizard of Oz forest. I'd turn back if I were you, forest. Kind of cool. Okay, good evening, friends. It is about 7:30, and I'm going to do the wrap-up of day 26 from my tent, obviously. I told you when I started the day I kind of had a near destination and a far destination. About midway through the day I opted for the near destination. Double Spring Gap Shelter. I think it was 7.2 miles. Very smart decision for me today. A nice light day. Let my body recover a little bit after yesterday. So got in here about 3 o'clock. Had a nice afternoon. Here with a couple of other thru-hikers I'd never met before. They were here already. Actually, they passed me late in the day to get here. So hung out with them a little bit in the shelter. I'm in my tent, obviously. And tomorrow, I've left myself a few more miles to get into Newfound Gap. Newfound Gap is the one road crossing in the Smokies. So I will get picked up at Newfound Gap and shuttled into Gatlinburg, where I will resupply, spend the night, do some laundry, and get right back on the trail Monday morning. So that's about 10 and a half miles I have to do tomorrow. So not a huge day, but I got to get up and get going in the morning. So that wraps up day 26 at the Double Springs Gap Shelter. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Good night. I am taking a break, an early lunch break, in the middle of Great Smoky Mountain National Park. And I have big announcement number 2. This one's been brewing for a while, and I had to have a couple of conversations with some key people first to figure it out, and I had to work with my daughter to get the logistics and the mechanisms worked out. But a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago now, I guess, I think I called my 60 years of gratitude a purpose for being out here. My own reflections on gratitude, sharing those gratitudes in hopes that others would enjoy them and maybe be inspired by their own gratitude. And based on the comments on the first several videos, I'm thrilled by how many people are enjoying that and can't wait for the next year, and so we're going to keep that going. But I have discovered purpose number 2 for me being out here. And I'm going to hit the punchline first and then explain it. I am starting today endeavoring to raise $200,000 while I'm out here. $100,000 for the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, the ATC, and $100,000 for the Maine State YMCA camp. $200,000 total, $100,000 for each. And I'll just give you a little bit of background about how those two came to be. The first, I think, is pretty clear. Since I've been on the trail, I've been overwhelmed by the trail. I spoke a lot about my appreciation in Georgia for the trail maintaining club there, and the shelters and the trail and the campgrounds. In North Carolina, and so far in the Smokies, I'm a little less complimentary, and that's simply because the facilities are just not as well maintained. The trail is still amazing, the fact that it's here, and the fact that we can all come out and enjoy it. But we got spoiled a little bit by the quality of the shelters and the campgrounds in Georgia. And I think perhaps one of the main reasons is access to day hiking. There's a lot of North Carolina and the Smokies so far with very little access for day hiking, and I think that probably motivates the trail maintaining clubs to keep them up a little better, perhaps. But anyway, I'm still very, very impressed by and feel gratitude toward the ATC, which is the big conservancy over the whole Appalachian Trail, as well as the trail maintaining clubs. And so $100,000 of the money I raise is going to go to the ATC and be directed as specifically as possible to the trail maintaining clubs to continue the work they do and support the maintenance of this amazing trail. The second $100,000 is going to be for the Maine State YMCA camp. It's in Winthrop, Maine. I went there as a camper. I worked there as a counselor. My daughter worked there as a counselor and a program director and an assistant camp director, and then as the director of development, raising money after she graduated from college. So the camp is very important to me and to my family. And of course, it's in Maine. And I'm also a volunteer board member of the camp. And one of the things I've noticed as I've been doing my Appalachian Trail hike here is that a lot of people hike. The outdoor hiking and outdoor living world and lifestyle is very important. Along the way, I've met some amazing day hikers. Of course, I've met Thru-Hikers, but I've met some amazing day hikers. Early on, I met Marianne and Alex and their puppy, and they're just both avid hikers, and have continued to message me and comment in my comments. I met a great group of high school kids. I think they were maybe middle school, but high school kids with some adult chaperones doing an overnight outdoor living program, hiking deep into the woods to camp and learn about camping and living, and they were having a great time, and they were inspiring to meet and talk to. I met my friends from Collins Hill High School while I was in Georgia. 4 buddies, they're beyond high school, but they're high school buddies. Had a great conversation with them. They too have continued to follow my hike. I met Bill on Blood Mountain, I think is where I met Bill, out for a day hike, and he's continued to message me. So all of this outdoor living, and if you happen to have followed my blog over on the Trek, I've written about and spoken a little bit about in these videos about the importance of hiking and why I think everybody should get out and hike a little bit more for their health and their sanity and their happiness and their appreciation of nature and their gratitude and everything. So that second $100,000 is going to go to the Maine State YMCA camp to fund campers. The Maine State YMCA camp hosts campers from Maine, but all over the United States and all over the world. And these young kids, I was one of them. These young kids come there for 2 weeks or 4 weeks or some for 8 weeks, and they learn about camping, and they learn about living in cabins, and they learn about making friends. But this second $100,000 to the Maine State YMCA camp will be specifically to educate and encourage people to hike and enjoy the outdoors and everything else that I think people should do more of. So that's my campaign. I promise not to turn this channel into a constant plea for money. I promise. We'll find a way to remind you at the end of the videos and give you easy access. My daughter is working on the platform for donations. I would love it if everybody who's watching my videos felt compelled to give to the ATC or to the Maine State YMCA camp or to both. But again, I promise this is not going to turn into a constant begging for money. I really hope, as I've thought about this, that I'm going to inspire a few big donors. That's what I really hope. I really hope someone out there on the ATC side will feel compelled or inspired to make a big matching gift of some sort, maybe even a $50,000 matching gift. So we can all raise 50 and somebody will match it to get us to the 100. And I'll be looking to my equipment vendors, my friends at Hyperlight Mountain Gear. I hope you will support me in this and support the ATC. REI, where I bought a lot of my gear. I hope somehow this word will get to somebody from REI. Topos, I'm wearing Topos shoes and plan to wear them for the entire trail, although I do have a manufacturing issue with Topos, which I plan to take up with them, but that's for a separate video. So equipment and gear and all the big companies out there that want people to be hiking the Appalachian Trail, I hope one of them will step forward. Of course, on the Maine State YMCA campsite, I hope there's a big Maine Foundation or Youth Development Foundation or Outdoor Living Foundation that likewise will step up and make a few big gifts. That's really what I'm hoping for. Small gifts from all of you out there watching are going to get us a lot of the way there, I hope. But I hope there's a few very generous, inspired people out there that will make, again, a 50,000, maybe even 100,000, or 10,000 or 5,000, some big gifts to get us on the way. So that's my big second purpose. I'll keep going with my 60 years of gratitude. I will launch this $200,000 campaign and give this crazy journey I'm on some purpose. All right. I hope you'll all join me in this and make an impact, an impact and create some lasting legacy in both of those areas. All right. We'll see you on down the trail.